Hey guys, today I'm going to be doing my out-of-box review for the Master Grade Tallgeese III. So yeah, once again, this was a premium Bandai kit, unfortunately, but I know it has been re-released at least once, if not maybe more than that. So there are still quite a few floating around out there. I'm sure if you do want to get your hands on one, I'm sure you probably still can, and not for an extremely ridiculous price, but you'll just have to check around. I think eBay and other sites like that, I'm sure you can still find one, if not Japanese-based sites or Japanese-based secondhand sellers on Amazon, something like that. So anyway, it's a really cool kit. If you guys have built the regular Tallgeese 1 Master Grade, it's obviously mostly the same. Just have a little bit different head, a little bit different shoulders, and then obviously the shield and the mega beam cannon on the arm are going to be different. That's pretty much it. I mean, it's a very plain looking mobile suit. And yeah, you'll notice that tends to be one of the weaknesses that people will point out about this kit, is that its ankles are a little bit weak. Basically, this is just a very top-heavy kit, and especially with the weapons on the shoulders and the big backpack, jetpack there that's got going on, and it's just all going down to these very thin legs into those really tiny little feet. So obviously it's going to have a little bit of some balance issues. Honestly, it's really not that hard to get to stand up. It's probably just because I have it going around on this base that's, again, on my table, which is not entirely flat. So, I mean, that's where it's having some of that issue, but it is a pretty common complaint that people have about this kit, is just the ankles can be a little weak. I think it's really not that big of a deal, but I guess it is something. I mean, you can always just put it up on an action base, which is recommended anyway. So, what I mean when I say that it looks a little bit plain is just because it's obviously that... So what I mean when I say that it looks a little bit plain is just that the color scheme is obviously just mostly white, with just some blue around on the backpack and the skirts, the head, and then like the little yellow accent there on the head crest is really nice as well. But I just feel like I have to say that because that was something that I pointed out about the Bale, and it's a very, very, very similar color scheme to the Bale from IBO, which I pointed out to be maybe a little bit boring color scheme for some people, so I imagine some people may think that about this kit as well. But personally, I think that the overall design of the Tallgeese, this color scheme fits it really well. I mean, the Tallgeese 1, 2, and 3 are all pretty sparse in terms of like color on them. They're all mostly white for the most part. Alright, so this thing has already fallen over like 6 times, so let me just move on into showing you guys the accessories that you get with this kit. Of course, we have this nice sheet of water slide decals. That's something that is nice about the P-Bandai kits. Do get these. The Tallgeese 2 also had some, also a P-Bandai kit, also had some decals in that. And then we get our 2 Beam Saber effect parts. These are again the same as the Master Grade Wing Gundam. They're slightly curved and a little bit more interesting shape to them than just your standard 1/100 scale effect parts. And then we have our small little standing Zex Marquise figure here with his codename Wind outfit there. Looking pretty cool though, yeah. So again, it's nice that we have this. Not all P-Bandai kits always include a specialized figure, but it seems like a lot of the wing ones do. So that's nice. We also have, of course, our heat rod, the retractable heat rod. How all of this somehow fits into this, yeah, that's some black magic. I'm calling bullshit on that, but somehow that does. You just pull out this tip here, reattach that to this end here, plug that back in, and there we go. So there's 10 links in this, and those can all bend like so. They're actually, when you like push them in totally, they lock into place, and then you actually pull them apart a little bit to free them, and then they're you're able to manipulate those, bend those around, and just whip that around. So that is its kind of other main accessory. And then we just have an action base connector, boring, and then a bunch of different hand options. Now the hand options here are just swappable fingers like all the Master Grade Wing kits. So we have like open hands, closed fists, holding hands, and trigger fingers. So just a whole bunch of little hand options for that. So that's pretty much it. Not really all that much in terms of accessories. Pretty much everything is like here already on the kit. So let me just talk a little bit about the articulation, pointing out some stuff here for you guys. Here on the head, it is able to go up quite far despite the head just seeming like a just stump on top of the torso there. it does actually have quite a lot of articulation. It goes up nice and far there. I have the foil sticker over the visor, but that's just a clear plastic piece in there for that visor for that. Down all the way to there, so really nice head articulation. Shoulder can move forward, out forward just a little bit like that. Enough maybe, I suppose. And then back in and up. The shoulder armor can move separately, but it's very tight, I'm finding. But you can get the arm up to about to there. But as you'll notice, when I let go of that, because of the weight, that's not going to stay up. You're going to have to do something about that. Otherwise, the arm is just normal, just rotation there. Nice bend here. I really like the design of this elbow joint as well, and the knee joint as well, just the way the armor separates there in the elbow joint. Looks really nice. And the wrist, of course, just on a ball joint like normal. Just to show you that knee joint here, we have just that really nice separation in that knee joint armor. I love the design of that. Really, really cool. So that's a full double joint there. Of course, the leg is also very normal, just rotation at the top, but it's very hindered by this part here on the side skirt. The side skirt pegs into the side of the leg, which is something that's a little bit annoying. You can pull that out, and then you can get a little bit more rotation there, but if you really wanted to rotate that leg more to the side, I would just not put in that connection piece in there that connects the leg to the side skirt. Then you can move that a little bit more freely, I think. Down here in the ankle, again, those are going to move side to side, forward and back, plenty far there. The toe does move on its own here, this little guy, but otherwise that is pretty much it for that. One kind of annoying thing about this ankle armor is that it often comes off, so I would recommend just gluing that in, whether you're going to paint or not. Once you're done with it, just glue that ankle piece on, or it's just always going to be coming off like that. Going back up here to the skirt, the front skirt armor does move, these tiny little things here. In the waist, we have really nice waist crunch here, forward, back, not really all that much, but forward anyways, quite a bit. And then side to side, I think a little bit, but not really all that much there. The connection for the shield is kind of just there. It's just kind of attached on. You can move that up and down a little bit. Not really a whole lot of range of movement there. A little bit more range here for the Mega Cannon. That can rotate there, rotate here, bend there, and you can just move this around kind of everywhere. Way back when I reviewed the Dragon Momoko version of this kit, I had a whole lot of trouble getting this thing to actually hold that in its hand, so hopefully it's better with this Bandai version. We'll try that out here in a bit. Here in the backpack, these thruster pods here have the same thing where you can just kind of pull this down and that just expands out like that, like so. You just pull that down and then you pull out this wing, and that lowers that thruster bell inside there just a little bit more. So that's going to be looking really cool. Those are really awesome looking. Here in the back skirt as well, these also open up, revealing some more thrusters up inside the back skirt there. So yeah, pretty awesome kit for sure. Alright, so one thing that I know you guys do want to see, of course, is a comparison with the Dragon Momoko version. And can you tell which one is the bootleg version? Because I don't think it's very hard to tell now that you can see them here side to side. From my memory, I don't remember the Dragon Momoko kit looking that bad. I remember being like disappointed with the solidarity of it because it's kind of a flimsy kit. But now that I can see them side by side, man, that Dragon Momoko kit is looking pretty ugly. It's just not looking anywhere near as good as the Bandai version. All the like just Tallgeese I kits, like the main mobile suit is all pretty much exactly the same. The Dragon Momoko kit actually did add a little bit of extra detail here and there, which is nice. I'll give them credit for that. Probably what I think would probably be best if you were like me and you had both of these kits. I mean, this one doesn't actually belong to me, but if you had both of these kits, take the parts from this kit that are have detail added to them, like just this front part here, like the knee part, the ankle armor, and just put them on the Bandai kit if you wanted that, if you didn't want to just add those details yourself. But also, so basically everything that is specific for the Tallgeese III is what Dragon Momoko did have to design themselves. And so that'd be like just the head, the shoulders, and the weapons and stuff. So the head, take a look at this head. That is ugly. That's sexy. One thing that I hated about this kit, even from the start when I first built this kit, it was like 2 years ago, I didn't like the head, didn't like that face at all. It just didn't look right. It was just weird. The visor is just not even close. The Tallgeese III, the Bandai version, head looking really, really nice. The shoulders, much smaller on this version, much larger on the Dragon Momoko version. Those larger shoulders looking just too large now. Definitely looking better on the Bandai version as well. The only thing that I'll maybe give possibly to the Dragon Momoko version is just the overall bulk of the Mega Cannon. You can see it's a lot larger just in its like width. It's a lot more bulky on the Dragon Momoko version. The shield is also more bulky on the Dragon Momoko version, which I kind of like it just smaller here, and obviously I think the detail and everything is much better on the Bandai version as well. So here you can see them back to back to give you just a better look around there. And yeah, so I mean, if you guys were on the fence about this, I mean, I know the official Bandai kit is going to be expensive because it's just not easy to find, it being a P-Bandai kit, but if I had to recommend one of these to you guys, I would definitely 100% recommend you get the Bandai kit. Just save up if you don't have the money for it. If you have the money, just bite the bullet and pay more for the Bandai version. It's much, much better. Not only do like the parts just look better, just the newly designed parts for the Tallgeese 3, you just are going to have a much more solid kit as well. There are a couple things that I do suppose it is fair to point out about the Dragon Momoko version. With the Dragon Momoko version, you do also get water slide decals, which is nice. You have some pretty nice decals there. You have this effect part for the Mega Cannon, which also is nice. It's very similar to the original Hainu Master Grade kit, the effect parts that came with that. And I found that that worked pretty well, but it didn't really actually look all that great, to be honest. And then for the heat rod, you have just regular white, and then you also have a heated up clear orange one, which again is pretty nice to have, to be honest. But still, even with that stuff, I would still recommend the Bandai version. But like I said, getting this guy up on an action base is going to be the best way. Now, that shield does have a handle on the inside, but getting that to actually hold onto the handle inside the shield, very difficult, and it doesn't look good at all. I tried, and it was just not going to work at all. So, but I mean, you really don't kind of need that. Luckily, the connection for the shield onto the shoulder is not, I mean, it doesn't give you a whole lot of articulation, which is unfortunate. You don't really have a whole lot of room to move that around anywhere. But on the other hand, that means that there's just not as much room for that to move when you don't want it to, because there's a lot of weight on there. So I think if there was like one more point of articulation in that connection to the shoulder, then that thing would probably just not be able to stay up at all. And as you're seeing now, at least for the time being, for the moment anyway, it's sort of staying up in this pose, and it's not like weighed down too much, and it's not like pulling the whole shoulder down. So stable enough at the moment, barely. On the other side, on the Mega Cannon, again, very complicated to get that to actually be held in the hand, and the connection to the shoulder is a little bit difficult to work with because it doesn't really give you a whole lot of space to move that around. I feel like it would have been nice if they would have made that connection to the shoulder have like a sliding gimmick where it has like a lock and a slide, so you can slide that connection out a little bit farther away just to give it a little bit more space away from the shoulder. And so anyway, I mean, it's kind of hard to explain, but if you guys get the kit, you'll know what I'm talking about. It's definitely posable, but you're working within a very confined amount of space there due to what you have with that articulation. Now for a kit like this that has like such a big impressive weapon on it, I feel like it's kind of easy to overlook its smaller weapons like the beam saber, and just because the beam saber is just a kind of very common weapon. But it is important to note that it does at least have them. The other thing that it has, like I mentioned before about the different hand options, it does have open hands, which I love. I'm always grateful to have open hands, and nice dynamic open hands, but these unfortunately are not very dynamic and not really all that great looking, to be honest. So that's just kind of a little bit disappointing there. Although, other thing is that I was worried about with the Mega Cannon, if in a pose like this or something, I was worried about that just kind of like flopping down or not being able to actually stay in a position where you want it. And it can be a little bit floppy, the connection of that, just because of the weight of it. But you have to just kind of work it into a sweet spot to get it balanced in exactly the place where you want it to be, which can be a little bit tricky, but it's definitely possible, as you can see here. So I actually noticed that before I had that connection piece between the Mega Cannon and the shield. I had that connection piece kind of wrong, backwards. I had it put together the wrong way. So I checked the manual, and actually it's actually photographed, where the kit is photographed in the manual, it's actually different on there as well. So I think basically you can kind of like take that part apart and kind of move it around to a different way that works for you, however you want to be able to get this posed. So yeah, not really the easiest thing to pose, like I mentioned before, but when you have like the rails or the barrel of that Mega Cannon extended, it's a pretty impressive weapon. I really like how, I mean, like I said with the Dragon Momoko kit, I liked that one was really bulky, but this one, I like how kind of very long and thin it is. It's got a really, really cool look to it. I think if you're a fan of like big guns, something, then you're really going to enjoy this, because it's a really very interesting, unique looking weapon. Just because not only it just has that very long barrel, but it's quite long at the back as well. So when you're looking at the weapon like from the side, you can really see like how long and cool that looks. And the little brown accent tubing on there looks pretty nice as well. So that is pretty much going to do it for this review, guys. Again, if you're a fan of this mobile suit, definitely track one of these down and try to get one. It's unfortunate that it was a P-Bandai kit, but that's unfortunately just how it went in Bandai's mind, so that's what we have to deal with. If you guys still have any other questions or comments, leave those down below, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye!